All right, good morning. Good morning. Oh, he's getting barked at. Good morning. Daily walks with God and my dog. Here's my dog, covered in pine needles. I don't know if you can tell it from the video, but he's got some pine needles all over his little butt, scaring a rabbit away. I heard from a friend a pretty good phrase, God made dogs and spelled his own name backwards. So it's like God and dog. So today's message is is about the unselfish love, the agape love of God. We were talking about dog is God spelled backwards, or God is dog spelled backwards. But the little baby here, little baby got him here. What you doing there, baby? See his little pine needles? He's running through the bushes. Okay. Anyway, the unselfish, the selfless love, agape love of God. And so when I'm thinking about God and his love and the gratitude for all the things we have, this great weather today, it's beautiful. In the Midwest, we gotta soak up every good day, because there's just a few short days and then winter's back for 2/3 of the year. So this is one of the good days, weather-wise. And so God's selfish love, selfless love, not selfish love. Is that a yeah, that's not a Freudian slip, is it? No. Anyway, Bailey's getting barked at. And we should imitate the same thing. We should imitate the love of a dog in having the agape love, like God and like our dogs. I got to show you this dog too. Oh, baby, he ran. And so anyway, and does love mean that, does selfless love, does the agape love, does that mean that you have to be a putz? Does that mean you have to be taken advantage of? No. Does that mean that you don't become wealthy because, well, you got to pay love for everybody. You're supposed to give everything away. Like one of the disciples in the Bible, Mary used expensive oil on Jesus, and the disciples started admonishing her. You could have sold that and gave a bunch of money to the poor, stuff like that. It's like, are we supposed to, unselfish love, does it mean we give away everything all the time and don't keep anything for ourselves? No. Does it mean that we can't be comfortable? Does it mean we have to be poor all the time? No. Does it mean that we have to intentionally be on the short end of the stick and take the bad end of agreements? No. None of those are the rule. Those are the misinterpretations of agape love. Does it mean that we aren't judgmental about anybody's behavior? No, because agape love, you love the person, you hate the behavior. You call out, truth to power and say, this is wrong, but it doesn't mean that you're going to break off the relationship with the person. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, well, I don't agree with X, Y, Z, so we can't agree with about anything. No, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. The agape love is that you help people when you can, you help people when appropriate. Does it mean that you help them and support them forever? Does it mean that they never have to stand on their own feet? No. That would be wow. We'll use another phrase: penny wise and pound foolish. meaning, you know, dollar wise, penny wise and dollar foolish. Is that we don't help somebody to make them dependent. We don't help somebody to enable them to continue their bad choices. No. Agape love. You love everyone. It's one thing we learned from the 60s. It's like, okay, I'm a boomer, obviously. So, okay, I don't remember the 60s. I was born in the 60s, but I don't remember them, of course. I was too young. The 60s they taught us that the flaws of the peace, love, and the Jesus movement. Actually, when I was in seminary, I interned at the Jesus People USA, which was sort of a hippie Jesus movement. They had a VW van, the stereotype, flowers on the side, crosses, Jesus loves you, and we're driving around the country, and the van gave out on the south side of Chicago, what kind of the east side of Chicago, and they stayed. It was a terrible place at the time. Abandoned warehouses, kind of dodgy, a lot of drug needles laying around. You got to worry about getting mugged or worse. And they stayed. Well, now it's a wealthy area. Now it's a yuppie area, and the city, the place was so bad. The city gave them, several acres of land for nothing. Here, you want to start a church? You want to start a commune? They started a commune. In another video, I was talking about a commune. They started a commune. To this day, it's like a quasi-commune. There's a few hundred people, maybe a couple thousand people that live in that commune. That still today, I was talking about how communes don't survive unless they adopt quasi-capitalist practices. I was watching a documentary called American Commune, which I have nothing to do with, but I enjoyed it. And one of its conclusions is that a lot of another dog barking at me. One of its conclusions was that the communes that survive the longest are the ones that were set up as mini businesses. They were kind of like a business. It was a family business of sorts for an extended family of several hundred or several thousand people. Well, that's how the Jesus People USA, where I interned at many years ago, kind of were set up. They have literal businesses. They have a construction supply business, a roofing supply business. They have some other businesses that support the work. The members work in Chicagoland, and they turn their check over to the commune, and in return they have free rent and free food and possibly some other amenities. I'm not sure, but they share everything like the early first century church. But it wouldn't have survived till today. It wouldn't have survived for 40 years if it didn't have the businesses, if it wasn't. Just sharing everything and share alike is doomed to fail. We know that from the 60s. All those communes dissolved. Even a huge one, which I didn't know, but my sister lives in Amana, Iowa, near Amana, Iowa, and Amana is the big company, the huge company that makes Amana microwaves and refrigerators and stoves and stuff. Amana, everything, all Amana. Well, Amana started out as a German religious commune. Unbelievable. It was they call it the Amana colonies. Well, the reason why it's a colony is because it was a commune, but it was starting to unravel in the second generation, and they literally became a corporation, with stock, and the Amana Corporation evolved from the Amana colonies, and a big company selling refrigerators around the world, and it grew from a commune. So that's interesting. But that's an example of a super successful commune that became a super successful capitalist enterprise, and they got pictures in the museum of the early commune days, and they have pictures when it was a company being visited by presidents and different officials. You know, super successful. Amana Corporation was actually a successful commune. So what that means for us, for me, for our little group, is I'm trying to figure out how to successfully build a business slash commune slash extended family. You know, I want to take the best from those lessons, but I want it to survive, obviously. And so it's got to be a quasi business of sorts, but it's also got to have the good parts of an extended family, a big communal family. And another kind of successful commune is the city of Zion, Illinois, started by the prophet. You know, one big church in the middle of town, and the church still exists, and the city of Zion was a gigantic commune where everything was shared and the property was owned by the church. But that failed as well, because then every problem was the prophet's problem. Hey, there's a pothole over here. Hey, the electric isn't working over here. Hey, there's a water leak over here. Oh, you know, this guy's not mowing his lawn. You know, everything became the prophet's problem, and eventually he was voted out of his own board of his own church, and the commune was turned over to become private landholding instead of all being held in central ownership. So in even non-religious situations, in the Pullman boxcars, he started a big company making luxury boxcars at the turn of the century, the last century, 100 years ago, and they. You know, Pullman was responsible for everything until finally there was an uprising of the workers. They wanted more money, they wanted better this and that, and had a list of grievances. And you know, he called the cops and the militia, and they quelled the uprising with weapons. But that ended. You know, so central control, like communism, like socialism, like Pullman, like the prophet in the big Christian church in Zion, like pretty much every commune, central power eventually fails. You know, it works well for a time and then fails. So I'm trying to figure out the winning way. So I'm interested in the people here. It's like, you know, command and control economies, command and control social organizations have always failed. Socialism, communism, you know, being a commune, and what works? What you know, capitalism seems to work, but it's got its problems too. How do we not have the problems of capitalism, yet keep the benefits, and not have the problems of I'll say the word socialism? How do we have? We're becoming a hybrid of socialism and capitalism. How do we keep the best of both worlds? We're trying to do that in America. What's the winning way? I'm interested to hear what my viewers think. So today, the agape love of a dog reflects the agape love of God, and that is reflected in caring for all people's needs. But do you care for all people's needs as a benevolent dictator? Is central control, is that the way? It seems to not be the way, because that has failed. What's the best way? I leave that to my viewers and my members of my church and the viewers of my blog. So Pastor Ken signing off.